very, very interesting and very, very exciting. We have received, as of today, two images of Jared Leto as the Joker. Very, very exciting stuff, guys. In essence, we are seeing the Nightmare Joker. This Joker, played by Jared Leto, clearly is a new take on the Joker, while at the same time remaining the character that we saw in Suicide Squad. So, very exciting stuff. This looks like a menacing Joker, a Joker that has been through some shit. You can see the same scars that he displayed in Suicide Squad. You can see long, darker hair. He seems to be wearing some sort of medical garments, as well as a face mask and surgical gloves. He seems to be in some sort of area. Not quite sure exactly what it is, but it could be like a makeshift surgical table of some sort. Essentially, this is a very, very interesting look and take on the Joker. This is a Joker that has left everyone very interested to see what it is that they're going to portray and where they are going with this. Frankly, the second I saw this, I was ecstatic. Very, very happy to see Jared Leto return as the Joker. I feel that he did not get a fair share of screen time in the Suicide Squad, the film that was released, which was not the director's vision either. I think here Zack Snyder has found a way to take this character and bring it into a futuristic or to be able to fit him in the world of Zack Snyder's Justice League. As we know, and this has been discussed before, the Joker will be part of the Nightmare sequence. The Vanity Fair article that talks about this goes into great detail as to how this eerie Joker has shown up in Zack Snyder's Justice League and what it basically means for the film. Now, a lot of interesting details that come out of this. Essentially, we were talking about this Joker being linked to the nightmare visions that apparently Batman will continue to have, and he will act in some sort of way as the ghost of Christmas yet to come, giving some sort of motivation through terror for Bruce to continue his quest. Zack Snyder reveals in this interview a couple of interesting quotes. It gives us a couple of things to really digest and talk about. He says, the cool thing about this scene is that the Joker's talking directly to Batman about Batman, Snyder said. It's Joker analyzing Batman about who he is and what he is. That's the thing I also feel like fans deserve from the DC universe. That is to say, the Jared Leto Joker and the Ben Affleck Batman, they never really got together. It seemed uncool to me that we would make it all the way through this incarnation of Batman and Joker without seeing them come together. So in very Zack Snyder-like fashion, in the way that he speaks, and you can see from this quote that there were plans for something to continue to happen in the future. In the original plan, when Zack Snyder was basically in charge of the DC universe at that point in time. And yes, it's definitely very difficult to sort of stomach the fact that maybe this was never going to happen. We saw pictures of Jared Leto with Zack Snyder back in 2017. I am under the belief that Zack Snyder and Jared Leto were in the UK at the same time. Obviously, we know Zack was doing filming there, but as I understand it, it's possible that Jared Leto was also part of that, or at least there were discussions about the two of them working together in the future, because this was going to go somewhere. We did see in Batman v Superman the Robin suit. We saw that hint that something had happened and that the Joker had killed Robin, just as in the Death in the Family comic book series. So the fact that the DC universe was sort of halted or paused, it took away that sort of ideal that this could happen. We as fans have been requesting the Snyder Cut for so long that these sort of side projects were maybe far-fetched and maybe were a distant path from where we were back then. But now Zack Snyder Justice League is literally here in about 40 or 30 something days. So we are very close, and now we start contemplating where this could have gone and we should have gone. So if this is it, this is the end. It's still a nice send off by Zack Snyder to give you something that was implied, maybe even promised to see, and that opportunity, that hope to see something like this come to fruition now becomes a reality, and in some way or another it becomes a major marketing factor in the film. Jared Leto is not being kept hidden in this film. Jared Leto is being featured. He's a main feature of the film. They likely invested in bringing him in, and they were definitely going to use him. Jared Leto is a massive Hollywood star. He's a rock star with 30 Seconds to Mars, and he is a very popular guy. He interacts with his fans online, so there's a lot of good things to say about him, and he has been very, very clear. His voice is very important here. He has said, I love Zack Snyder. He's a madman. He's a warrior. I love working with him. We have things, up our sleeves. Like it's a lot of positive information, a lot of positive backing of Zack Snyder and the project. So where is this interest coming from? Why is Jared Leto all of a sudden so strongly for this when he wasn't even part of the project before? My opinion is there could be something worked out already where this is going to move forward. The Zack Snyder Justice League is looking to be a massive, massive hype machine for HBO Max. Let's leave Warner Brothers out of the equation here for a second. But the reality is that there is a lot of attention on this project, and there's a lot of people interested in this continuing and happening. So even if it were not to happen, the fact that we are going to be able to see it and at least fantasize about it is a great deal for what it will do for the fans. It will give you some sort of closure if you wanted to see it that way, but it will also give you some motivation to request and demand to continue seeing this as something that has a future. I think this is the way it's going to go. So I'm very happy to see this. I'm very happy that not only that we're getting Zack Snyder Justice League naturally, but that we are seeing essentially a seed for something else, or at the very least the delivering of something that was promised, of a hopeful loose end that was going to be tied up, eventually. So very happy to see that, and very excited to see where this could go. In addition, Zack Snyder says the scene where the Joker's going to be involved explains why Bruce had the Joker card taped to his gun, and that you see in Batman v Superman. I'd always wanted to explore the death of Robin, Snyder said. And if there was ever going to be a next movie, which of course there probably won't be, I wanted to do a thing where in the flashbacks we learn how Robin died, how Joker killed him and burned down Wayne Manor, and that whole thing that happened between he and Bruce. So we continue here to see how the comic books are the foundation and the basis for the, let's call it, Snyderverse. This is his take, it's his vision, it is Zack Snyder's Justice League, but one of the very, very cool things is that it's in a way based in the world of comics, in the very classic and epic comic books that have defined DC Comics for years. We're talking about Dark Knight Returns, Death and Return of Superman, A Death in the Family. There's probably a lot more that's basically going to be involved in these movies. So the core base here is hardcore DC fans, and whenever I think of these movies, I think of myself as a long-term DC fan that has gone through all these eras and has been able to experience all these different comic book iterations that in some way are represented in these movies. And to me, that's key. That keeps the fans, very close. DC has such a rich history when it comes to comic books with a sort of mature take, and I do feel that these movies take advantage of that, and I am ecstatic to continue to see where this is going to go. So I think there is a lot of that are yet to be defined. I think there is something that caught my attention in this whole thing. Essentially, it's where it's discussed in some sort of very non-detailed way, but Zack Snyder makes mention of the Joker's tattoos from Suicide Squad, the very famous damage tattoo in his forehead, which does not appear to be here. But if you zoom in this picture in a high quality version, you can see that there is something applied to his forehead. And in the interview, he says, I would say that there's been some water under the bridge. Who knows what's happened? Snyder said, I don't know if he's wearing makeup. I don't know what's happening. It's hard to say exactly. So again, in typical Zack Snyder fashion, he seems to be saying something here, but not really. But he seems to be winking at us and pointing at a certain direction. I don't think this is just aesthetic change, just for the sake of change. I think maybe there is something to this. Could Harley Quinn play a role here at some point? That would be very interesting. I would be interested to see how Zack Snyder treats a character like Harley Quinn under the context of the Joker, or somebody else that would come in and work on it. Maybe David Ayer, maybe somebody else. I don't know. But the idea is that this picture says a lot of things. These like images that were released say a lot of things, and they have created a great deal of interest. And it seems to me that as we're getting closer and closer to this film, the hype continues to grow, and things are trending with a lot of ease. And this article here from Vanity Fair that came out this morning, it basically in a span of 10 minutes it was already trending and people were going crazy for it. So I think it's smart to feature Jared Leto as one of the main features of the movie, even if he is for a very brief period of time over those 4 hours. I think there's going to be tons of surprises, tons of stuff that we don't know about. Perhaps in the same way that Jared Leto is a key feature of the film, maybe there's sort of things that they're not revealing yet that are part of the film, like who's playing Green Lantern, for example. Those kinds of things that could be huge, wow moments for the fans. But the fact that they're using Jared Leto to really push this film, and Jared is really sitting there and saying, yes, I am behind this. I like the fact that I can continue to play this character. This says a lot. This says to me like this is going somewhere. But that somewhere is not going to be acknowledged immediately. Obviously, HBO Max and all these guys, they need us to step up our games and to help them promote the film. So, of course, they're not going to basically come out and tell you, yes, this is the roadmap. I don't think that's in the cards anymore. I think we're just going to see a couple of different projects here and there. Maybe Wonder Woman 1854, or who knows? Who knows what else it's in the cards. Certainly, I would like to see more Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad. I think basically what we've seen is very minimal from that performance, and we've seen under a different editing style in the movie. So I think there's a lot to do with the Joker still. I think in the theatrical version of Suicide Squad that we saw, not Ayer's version, but the studio's version, we didn't see the Joker treated with the respect he deserves as a character. When he shows up in Suicide Squad, he's just sort of there at the beginning of the movie, just kind of smiling. There was no real big introduction, or there was no prelude, no nothing really. He was just there, and to me, I was kind of a bit of a shame, because I did not think that that's the way you should handle the character. Whereas you move this here to Zack Snyder's Justice League, just by looking at the picture, you can see these sort of style and aura that is being, that surrounds the character in this story. So I'm very intrigued. How are they going to play this guy? Is it going to be a Grant Morrison type of Joker? Is it going to be similar iteration of the character? I don't know. We just know that Jared Leto is very behind this, and he's very happy about this, and he appears to hint that there could be more. There could be more things in the works. The Batfleck movie could happen, would make a lot of people happy. I think essentially they have a lot of things here on the table that they could do if they basically get really behind Zack Snyder. I mean, obviously Zack he's a busy guy. He cannot film all the movies at the same time. But I think they should invest in this, and this is the way to go. It's up to the fans to let it be known that they want this. That this is something that could be quite successful for them. Things have changed. COVID has changed things. HBO Max is a player in the game now. Releasing films and streaming is becoming more of a thing. It's possible that the Snyderverse is going to continue to live in HBO Max. I'm perfectly happy with that. I would still like to see the movies on an IMAX screen from time to time, but the idea is that if these guys are smart enough, you can get the content. And by seeing Jared Leto come in and start talking like this, and start basically working with Zack Snyder and talking about how happy he is and getting behind it, is justice for both Zack Snyder and Jared Leto at the end of the day. Zack Snyder will get justice by having his film finally be released. Very happy for Zack Snyder and his family. I think it's a great thing, but also for Jared Leto, and that's not to take away the situation with Zack Snyder, but parallel to this, Jared Leto, I feel he got the short end of the stick. It appears to be that he filmed far more material in Suicide Squad than was shown. He was more of an antagonist than some sort of side character. So I think in a way, Jared Leto took a lot of heat for the performance of the character, for the look of the character, for the way that the character was used in the film. None of it was really his fault or anything of his doing. But if you see the extended version of Suicide Squad, you do see a little bit more of what he's capable with the character, and some of the scenes were actually quite amazing. I love the scene under the bridge where he's confronting Harley Quinn and then they shoot the truck driver. I felt that was really, really well done, and this was more a scene that was kind of cut out of the film. So we, knowing what David Ayer has said about the film, how it has changed, and how we haven't really seen Jared Leto's performance from the film, it makes me happy to see that the guy's been allowed to continue with the film, because Zack has said, okay, let's just basically continue with this character because I really like it, because David Ayer did a good job in creating a character, so I want to use it. So I'm happy for Jared in the same way I'm happy for Zack Snyder. I'm happy that he can now take on the character once again with a little bit more acceptance and positive energy. And I think that in a way what's happening here is that we are looking at things spinning in the opposite direction that they were 5 years ago, where right now there is positivity behind this, and these people are getting behind the project and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is the subject matter that we're going to be touching on, this is the sort of target audience that we're going for. And now you have these huge names basically getting behind it. Ben Affleck has been also extremely positive about his experience with Zack Snyder. So I think things are not completely there yet, but we're going to be there by the time the marketing comes out, and a lot of interesting things are going to come out of the marketing cycle for the film. So it's very, very exciting. So this idea about the Joker being Zack Snyder's Justice League being put front and center as part of the marketing is saying a lot of things without saying anything. So what I would do if I were you guys is keep talking about this, keep using the hashtags, keep basically enhancing the excitement that you can see online. Reply to media posts about this, talk about why you're excited or how you're going to watch this film once it comes out. The positivity is becoming more and more of a thing, and if we can make the demand and the numbers happen for it, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Jared Leto as the Joker, whether it's in Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 if it happens, or if it's in a Batfleck series if it happens. The possibilities are endless here, but it's up to us to really hammer it down, and I think we're going to make it happen, guys.